Covered.
To switch to Nationwide, call an agent today.
Nationwide is on your side.
2.5 Men and the King of Queens. Back to back to back to back.
Produced in high definition by Fox 50. Viewer discretion is advised. Tonight, the murder of Michelle Young. Then an exclusive interview with Jason Young's angry mother. NC Wanted in high definition starts now.
Good evening, I'm Gerald Owens. Welcome to NC Wanted. Tonight we continue our focus on unsolved cases where young pregnant mothers are murdered inside or near their own homes. These riveting and horrific cases have been launched into the national spotlight. We start with the unsolved murder of Michelle Marie Fisher Young, a former NC State cheerleader who became a wife and mother living in an upscale neighborhood in Wake County.
I think my sister's dead. Oh, my God.
What's your name?
Meredith Fisher.
Meredith.
And this is a Young address.
Are you with the patient now?
Yes, I'm her daughter.
Is she breathing?
I don't think so. Michelle? She's cold.
I can't believe that somebody would ever do something like that to her or any pregnant woman with a child in the house. It was such a gruesome crime. It's unimaginable.
Well, it was a very brutal murder. She was beaten. Did she do a lot of suffering? I would say yes.
November 3rd, 2006. News of Michelle Young's murder breaks early on a Friday afternoon.
Young was found dead.
Investigators continue to piece together the evidence.
The case becomes a national fascination, a disturbing crime against a backdrop of the American dream. At the time, the Youngs appear to have it all. Good looks, great jobs, a spacious brick home south of Raleigh, an adorable 2-year-old daughter named Cassidy, and a baby boy on the way. But before the flowers fade on Michelle Young's grave, her husband Jason becomes a suspect in the investigation.
Well, we have to rule out as many people as we can. And usually we have the cooperation of people. You see, by him not cooperating with us and talking to us, we're having to do eliminations to make sure if we have fingerprints that we don't have identity to, we're trying to find out who they belong to.
Someone who's been confirming details from investigators since day one is WRAL's Amanda Lamb.
She had had several friends over to watch a TV program that Thursday night. They had left her house sometime between, 10 and 11 that evening, and that she had been alone with her daughter, her 2.5-year-old. The next day, Friday, her sister, Meredith, received a call from Michelle's husband, Jason, that there was a fax at the house and that she needed to go pick up the fax.
He was on a business trip. He had left the night before, so we were told.
The autopsy report is released nearly 10 weeks after Michelle's murder. Her skull fractured, bruises all over her upper body, her teeth scattered on the ground beside her body. The brutality of the crime is difficult to imagine and even more difficult to accept, given that Michelle's 2.5-year-old daughter Cassidy was inside the home and likely unable to sleep through such a violent attack.
Yes, sweetie. Do you know what happened to Mommy? Did she fall?
The 911 tape has been disseminated widely. It's been played over and over. But I think the thing that most people get from that is hearing the little girl in the background. And we're not sure how much she's seen or what part of it she was awake. But she has witnessed something very horrible.
She thrived at being a mother, and I think that was clearly something she wanted in her life because her family was so important to her. Her mother and dad and sister were all very big parts of her life, and yeah, I think she always wanted a family.
A lot of people have heard about the child. It really sparked interest nationwide because you have murders, and you have murders all the time all over the country, but usually when there's a child involved and the child is close by, you wonder, did the child see it?
From the first moments of the investigation, detectives with the Wake County Sheriff's Office believe the person who killed Michelle Young was no stranger.
Either the doors were unlocked and the person entered, or the person knew what they were doing, or the person was used to coming into that house.
The investigation becomes plagued with questions. What were Michelle's daily habits? Who would want to see her dead? Investigators seek answers from her husband, Jason, but he refuses to talk.
If he had to talk to us and give us some information, routine stuff about who she associates with, the things that she does, it would have made it a lot easier on us.
Investigators obtain warrants the day Michelle's body is found. They spot what appears to be blood droplets in Jason Young's white Ford Explorer, parked at a home in Fuquay-Varina owned by Michelle's mother, Linda Fisher. They seize the Explorer, computers, phone records, photos and videos, email accounts, cell phones, travel receipts, and more. Then, 4 days after her murder, the Wake County Sheriff's Office issues a court order claiming reasonable grounds to suspect that Jason Young committed the murder of his wife. The order compels Young to provide DNA samples along with fingerprints and photos of any injuries to his body. He shows up the next morning with his lawyer, gives the samples, then slips out the back when he's done. Then, 23 days later, more search warrants are issued. One details an ongoing relationship Jason allegedly had with a woman in Florida named Michelle Money. Ironically, it's her last name that represents a possible central motive for any murder. Money, and lots of it. Jason had a substantial life insurance policy on Michelle, with a possible payout up to $2 million, with Jason himself as the beneficiary. But despite the evidence, the leads, and the near round-the-clock work by investigators, to this day no arrest has been made. Did someone commit the perfect crime? Can Jason Young account for his whereabouts the night of Michelle's murder? In a moment, we'll bring you new details about his timeline, his whereabouts, and we'll drive 300 miles to the North Carolina mountains where he's been living. Stay with us.
Two and a half is your lucky number.
What? Really?
Monday night, Fox 50 is giving away $2,500 in 2.5 Men. It's easy to play.
Explain how.
Watch Fox 50 Monday night at 7 and be the 25th caller when you see the secret word.
Done.
And who couldn't use $2,500? For instance, I sure could. You watch, you call, you could win $2,500 Monday night at 7 from Fox 50.
Everybody loved her. She was happy. She was smiling. She was just an easy, fun-loving, happy kid.
In college, Michelle Young goes by her maiden name, Michelle Marie Fisher. Legendary cheerleading coach Kathy Bucky remembers Michelle's glory days with the NC State Wolfpack.
Her drive was incredible. She never gave up. Great skill, great kid. I hope that the cheerleading program did something for her because she did a lot for the cheerleading program.
Michelle graduates from NC State in 1999 and works her way to becoming senior financial specialist at Progress Energy.
Michelle was very intelligent. She was the ideal employee. I think one of her managers even described her as the perfect employee.
The more we learn about her, it's so hard to understand why somebody would have something against her.
She didn't know an enemy.
But Michelle is good at masking hardship. Co-workers at Progress Energy describe her as upbeat and confident, but court documents allege financial struggles in Jason's extramarital affairs. And many who knew Michelle were unaware that just months before her murder, She was injured in a mysterious car crash in which Jason was allegedly driving.
They ran off the road and down about a 100-foot embankment into a river. One of the things she mentioned is that Jason seemed to make sort of light of it, like it wasn't that big a deal.
Then, 6 months after the accident, it's Friday, November 3rd, 2006. Michelle's sister Meredith Fisher says she gets a phone call from Jason to pick up a fax from his house.
One of the reasons given to us, it was supposed to be something about a gift. And he didn't want her to know about what he was looking at. And so he called the sister to go by and pick it up. Is that the real reason? That's something that we're looking into.
Meredith arrives at the house and finds her sister's body. She dials 911. 2.5-year-old Cassidy is there and unharmed.
Cassidy, come here, sweetie. There's like blood footprints all over the house.
Hey,
Of my daughter, like her daughter's little footprints.
Do you think she's beyond any help?
I don't know, honestly.
You don't know? All right.
I'm normally very good under pressure.
As months pass, still no arrest. But more details emerge about the Youngs' financial troubles, as Michelle was planning to cut back on her hours after maternity leave. Other documents point to Jason's activities. In one warrant, a witness A describes Michelle's anger about a recent trip Jason made to California. Then a witness B describes stress over money and things that Jason would go out and do. Other warrants refer to Jason Young's ongoing relationship with one of Michelle's sorority sisters in Florida.
I mean, we try to look for motives, and we look at everything. It could be money. It could be another woman. It could be we're not getting along, period, and we don't need another child. All those, you got to look at each case.
They have a room at the Wake County Sheriff's Office, which they joke about as the war room. And it has all of the evidence from this case, you know, spread out on tables and all over the walls, and they have regular meetings. And I think they believe that they're making a lot of progress.
So the anniversary of Michelle Young's murder comes and goes. A family mourns, and a young girl lives with memories locked in her mind. The support from friends is evident, but the husband and widower, Jason Young, stays far away.
If my wife was murdered, I would want to do everything in the world to help. If you're not guilty, you help in every single way. You're there, you're, pounding the pavement, you're calling all the time, you are there.
And it's sort of surprising that people don't talk about it more. But people don't want to offend if they have a different view. Nobody's willing to, stand up and say, well, I know that this is what happened, because we just don't. There's just not enough information.
But there is some information. The Wake County Sheriff's Office states it's conducting a full investigation, looking at all possibilities and suspects. We wanted to know, is it even possible that Jason had time to kill Michelle? Could he have a perfect alibi? His story is he was away on an overnight business trip in Virginia, then drove to his mother's house in Brevard. But we wanted specifics, so to verify Jason's timeline, the NC Wanted staff examined dates and locations marked on gas receipts taken from the white Ford Explorer parked at Linda Fisher's house in Fuquay Arena. The exact times on the receipts were not available, but we did confirm general time frames. In the late afternoon or early evening of Thursday, November 2nd, Jason Young leaves his house in the Enchanted Oaks subdivision and gets gas for his SUV at the Handy Hugo on South Saunders Street. He has a reservation receipt for a room that Thursday night at the Hampton Inn off I-77 in Hillsville, Virginia. The next morning, November 3rd, he drives to his meeting at a medical facility in Clintwood, Virginia. After the meeting, he heads south, stopping after lunch to refuel in Duffield, Virginia. Then on to his mother's house in Brevard, where he's told of Michelle's death that afternoon. But we found a gap in his confirmed whereabouts. The night before Michelle's murder, he has a reservation at the Hillsville Hampton, but no one we found could verify he stayed there. And why did he book a hotel nearly 3 hours from his morning business meeting, taking place all the way in Clintwood, Virginia? very close to the border with Kentucky.
He had left his business and was on the way to his mom's. That's the information that we were given. We do not know because he has refused to talk to us.
To clear this up, we decided to speak with Jason Young directly, since neither he nor his lawyer would make comments over the phone. We drive nearly 300 miles to where Young reportedly lives with his sister in the foothills community of Etowah between Hendersonville and Brevard. It's a gorgeous fall Saturday and a potentially good day to catch Jason Young at home from his travels as a pharmaceutical rep. We pass the railroad tracks in the old water tower and enter Etowah's Timberlane subdivision. I approach his sister's house, to the foot of her driveway, up the hill past 3 vehicles, and straight to the front door. The calico cat perched in the open window gives us hope that Jason may be home.
I've done this, 100 times. Usually you hear something. You see a curtain ruffle, nothing. I did leave my business card with a little note. Yeah. Saying, talking about what we're trying to do, and if he wants to talk to us, give me a call. Yeah. So, we'll see.
So, on to our next destination. Crossing the county line and into the quaint mountain town of Brevard. After a short ride past the downtown shops, we find the nearby neighborhood where Jason's mother lives. This is a significant location because Jason's story includes his going to his mother's house the day of Michelle's murder. And this is where, according to a quote by his stepfather, Jason dropped plumb to his knees when he was informed of his wife's death. Our crew sets up and I walk past various dogs in the front yard and on the deck, past the children's play castle, and straight to the mother's front door. But despite the roaming dogs and another open window, we get the same result. No answer. So Jason Young remains silent, not uncommon for a suspect who is shielding himself behind the wishes of his attorney. But what adds to the mystery of this case is the degree to which the victim's family isn't talking. Each family copes with grief in its own way. The stress appears especially intense on the Fisher family. Public statements have been few and far between. Michelle's mother, Linda Fisher, has made it clear she will not discuss Jason Young or details of the investigation.
I would like the case to be solved. I would like the case to be solved.
Of note is that Jason Young and the Fisher family remain connected by little Cassidy, but custody is Jason's alone. This is understandably upsetting for grandmother Linda Fisher.
And I really hope that someday, soon, we can become an active part in Cassidy's life.
Then there was Michelle's sister Meredith, who found Michelle's body and called 911. That's her on the right, standing next to big sister Michelle. Here's a more recent photo of her and Michelle at Christmas. Shortly after her sister's murder, Meredith disconnected her phone and has declined requests for an interview. We hope to make contact with Meredith after her sister's recent memorial, but she left quickly and was again unavailable. For investigators, a shroud of secrets is thwarting this case, but there is still time for someone with information to come forward.
I know a lot of people would look at it and say, oh, it's a year anniversary, so it's never going to be solved. I really don't believe that. I believe that it will be solved.
We work hard on every case. But this case really touched us because we know that child was saw some things. We want to have closure for her, for the family. It's something that we're looking forward to solving. And we'll be happy today we can put somebody behind bars for it.
Coming up, the suspect's mother vents her anger to NC Wanted. The exclusive interview with Jason Young's mother is straight ahead.
people you hire or the people that you and your loved ones come in contact with can forever change your life. At 123nc.com, you can search every criminal record in North Carolina instantly online or speak with an experienced private investigator. Why leave anything to chance when you can know right now? Worried about an employee, babysitter, boyfriend, girlfriend? Go to 123nc.com. Search criminal records instantly online or talk to an experienced private investigator. 123nc.com. When you need to know now.
You're looking at the Young family attending Michelle's funeral in November of 2006. Of course, that's Jason with the red tie and sunglasses. Holding his arm is his mother, Pat. She recently called NC Wanted to complain about a reference to Jason as a suspect. Here are excerpts of our exclusive phone interview with Pat Young as she spoke with one of our producers from her home in Brevard.
Oh, I'm very, very angry. I'm very angry over this.
Can I ask you, why is your son not talking with investigators?
He is not talking with investigators because it was apparent he was going to be arrested that night because nobody was looking anywhere else. So he obtained a lawyer who said, no, you don't talk, period. I have checked with defense lawyers here. They've all said, no, you don't talk, period.
Do you understand how that looks suspicious to people?
No, I really don't. When you have a lawyer who says, if you do what your lawyer says. Otherwise, why would you even have a lawyer to begin with?
But if your spouse is murdered, why would you not do everything possible to help investigators find the perpetrator?
And I believe we have. We have tried in every way that we can to find the perpetrator. You have no idea what we've done. You have done nothing but decide that he is the person who did this to begin with. This is all that's been out the entire time, is it's been this one-sided approach. And I think you're going to find something very different in the days to come.
If Jason is not a suspect, who in the world could be?
I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that are suspects.
Well, has Jason discussed this murder with you?
He has not.
How is he doing?
As well as you would expect when your wife was murdered.
What would you like people to know about this situation?
Well, in the first place, I want his name removed as being a suspect.
Why doesn't he cooperate with the investigation?
He is doing what he has been told to do, and that is all you need to know.
Have you considered asking your lawyer to come out and present Jason's side of things?
No, because he is not a lawyer who wants to make a show of himself, and he doesn't have to get up and make statements and do all of this.
Let me get back to this. If Jason is not the one who did it, do you have any idea who could have done this?
If I did, I certainly would have reported it. I want this solved as much as anyone wants it solved. We cannot find closure to this. We've not been able to grieve properly. This is on our minds every single day. People act like we didn't love Michelle, that we don't care, and that is not true at all. The fact that we don't have to get up and be in the media and be seen does not mean that we don't care or that we're not hurting. That's something that the media does not seem to understand. They seem to take enjoyment from seeing others hurt, and that hurts me very much. That really hurts me.
On behalf of Jason, what would you like people to know?
It will all come out in the end, and you will see that he is not guilty.
123nc.com. North Carolina Criminal Records Online. Why worry? Know now. 123nc. Criminal Records Online at 123nc.com.
The Panthers battle the Packers.
Sunday starting at noon on Fox 50.
The Redskins battle the Cowboys.
Sunday at 4 on Fox 50.
Welcome back to NC Wanted. She was the young pregnant mother murdered in her home in the Enchanted Oaks subdivision in Wake County. Michelle Young worked for Progress Energy before she was murdered. The company is offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction. Anyone with information should call us right now toll-free at 1-866-43-WANTED. That's 1-866-439-2683. Or go to ncwanted.com and click Report a Tip. As always, you don't have to reveal your identity. Join us next week as we bring you more unsolved cases in our area and across the state. Remember, together we can fight to protect the quality of life we hold dear in North Carolina. I'm Gerald Owens. Good night.
The people you hire or the people that you and your loved ones come in contact with can forever change your life. At 123nc.com, you can search every criminal record in North Carolina instantly online or speak with an experienced private investigator. Why leave anything to chance when you can know right now? Worried about an employee, babysitter, boyfriend, girlfriend? Go to 123nc.com. Search criminal records instantly online or talk to an experienced private investigator. 123nc.com. When you need to know now.
Fox Monday, on a special night and time, will House risk his career?
You sure you're doing the right thing?
To give a dying patient a second chance.
I have a few hours to live.
Unless I lie to the committee.
Answer the question.
House, then.
We will find who did this.
$50,000 leads straight to a mysterious murder.
Cheating spouses, biological fathers who come back from the dead. I keep waiting for the evil twin to show up.
An all-new K-Ville.
Monday, starting at 8 on Fox 50.
Did you have sex with someone?
A husband's shocking confessions.
You have got to tell the truth.
New Dr. Phil.
Monday at 5 o'clock on Fox 50.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mad TV is proud to welcome back for our 300th episode, the one, the only, the legendary Miss Whitney Houston!
The year was 1995. That's when Mad TV first came alive. Back then there was no way they could have known they'd reach this episode, number 300. That's a lot of shows. Am I right? And it's so wonderful to be here tonight. Yeah, let's make it a party! Woo! Whitney feels good! Diva! Hey! Oh, we're having a party, and I hope I hook up with somebody. Yeah, we're gonna get real naughty at this Mad TV party tonight.
All right, I'm there. Mr. Nolan, first I need you to open the panel. Done. You should see 3 switches. Yes. Done. Do you see the LED display? Yes. I need you to punch in this code. 099er. 099. Charlie. Alpha. 59er.